It's like a blueberry cereal. It's like 2 a.m. Once in a while, for like 2 seconds, I have like 1 minute, that doesn't make sense, where I realize, that doesn't make any sense, that it's possible for my twin flame to think I'm like married or something, because I don't think he checks my social media. So for my last name to be different, because I wanted it to be my artist name, because we were born with the same last name, which it wasn't even his family's name. He was like explaining a long time ago that like they just gave him that name or something. Like, I don't know. But we were born with the same last name. So then for me to change it on my social media probably looks weird, you know? So maybe he doesn't go on my social media because he just assumes I'm married. But to nobody. But like, he's the one who didn't want to date me, so. So if I'm married now, and his imagination, it kind of doesn't matter, right? Because it isn't true. Or he just knows people could like change the name, so it doesn't matter. So it isn't like necessarily that. Yeah. Like, it's possible that he doesn't want me to comment on his social media because he thinks I'm married. But I'm just not. But also, why would I be married this young? But like, who knows? Some people are. Because I don't think he knows that I like make music or something, right? Or that I have this many YouTube videos, or that any of them mention him, or that I linked to his YouTube channel, or that I have AI photos of him as thumbnails, which they only got 3 views, so like, those videos only got like 3 views. Actually, one of them got like 8 views. So at this point, it's not like, oh, I'm like super evil because I like made money off of his image or something. I didn't. And at this rate, it would be way more than 10,000 years until somebody he knows like would see the video. But people only live for like 100 years. So. The thing is, I don't think he cares that I exist, but maybe because I'm his twin flame, right? But he'd have to kind of know it's me. Even though I said it, I don't know if he like believed it. Otherwise, I guess you could be like watching my YouTube videos, know everything if you wanted to, and just be like, I want to make the next episode really weird, and just block me. But probably not, right? Because then what about some of the nice things I said? Those would have gotten so lost. So does that mean he's probably out there searching for somebody who's going to write a bunch of songs about him? Or somebody who already did write a bunch of songs about him? I feel like a giant spider. Like I am a giant, like I feel like I'm a giant spider with like a cell phone. Like it's not making sense. My hair looks like antennas though, like how it's like one going this way, one going that way. We could start a whole other debate about whether or not giant spiders deserve to even have internet access. And that would make more sense to me than the rest of normal reality, to be honest. At this point. Which trials of whether or not I even should have a phone. We could start there, to be honest. I'm surprised I got this far with like my whole entire career, even though I made no money on it, but God, it doesn't make sense I got this far, to be honest. I'm surprised, first of all, by the time I was like born, I was pretty surprised that there's not like, which I don't think there should be, but I was pretty surprised there wasn't like a law that you have to have like blue eyes to even have a phone. But now again, I just feel like this, like I feel like I'm just a giant spider, like giant spider, like with a phone, and I'm just like, haha, I get to spy on everybody. I feel that way so much that you could literally just outlaw only me having one specifically, and I would believe you. I'd be like, honestly, I'm not so surprised. Like, it would still make sense. Like, reality would still make sense. If that's, like, the only change, you know? Which means maybe my twin flame feels the same way? Or would it be the opposite? Or, like, the inverted version? Or would he just believe that it makes sense for me to not have a phone? And it makes sense for him to, right? I don't know how that part works yet. I'm still confused about how he found out where my neighborhood was. Right? I'm more confused about that than like how did I get blocked? Like people just get blocked, I don't know. So I don't know. I think it's weird when you have a twin flame. If they haven't been on your social media, if he doesn't know how twin flames work, he wouldn't know the fact he evolved. I only know he evolved in the past few years, whatever, because I evolved. So I know that that means he had an equal evolution process and phase, right? You know? But if he thinks he's the only one who evolved, then he would be like, well, I evolved so much in the past couple of years that like, you wouldn't even be on my level. Right? Also, I don't even remember all of our like conversation stuff, but this looks like fried chicken. It's like, but like walking around, you know? But like, just my imagination. But like, fried chicken doesn't walk around. But like, imagine a world where like the animals are fried chicken and they're just walking around like they're just made out of fried chicken, like boneless fried chicken. And they're just walking around. They like consciousness, like the whole body is like just boneless fried chicken. You could walk up to them and like bite them and just like eat a part of it, and they keep walking around because they're still alive. You didn't eat the whole thing. It can go on and live the rest of its life like a sheep with wool. They might run away, but like there's different speeds, right? Like the lengths of the legs, and like if the legs are like kind of fat, they like run slow. There's different sizes. Like, is this one the size of a dog? Is this one the size of like a water buffalo? Is this one the size of a hippo? Is that one the size of a horse, you know? I would enjoy a world like that. Because like half our food was gonna come from animals anyway. So why can't it be in an interesting way? Why does it have to be like scary? I don't remember what it's called, but there's like a YouTube channel where they do like ghost hunting. Like these specific dudes, right? There's like this dude with like blonde hair. And like his whole family, like his mom will be there, his dad will be there, his friend, and him, right? I don't know if somebody's girlfriend will sometimes be there. I don't know. I don't really know. But like they went to like, they go to like abandoned places. They get like crazy views though. So it's not like a tiny one. Like you guys might know them, but they would go to like crazy places. And they have that like ghost box thing where it like talks, like spirit box, right? I saw some of their videos. They went to that like slaughterhouse. That was a crazy video. I watched the whole video. It's like hours long. It's like, I don't know if it's like 2 hours or like 4 hours or something. I don't know. I watched the whole thing though. I was like, whatever this is like so crazy. So inspiring, honestly. I don't know. But yeah, there was like all kinds of scary stuff going on there. Because like, they went to a room where the people who used to do like the slaughterhouse stuff had to like wash off their body. Like there's like a shower. Because at the whoa, why did I talk like that? At the that's like weird. Okay, at the slaughterhouse, blood would get all over them so much that they had to shower after, or I think like before and after, something weird. Whatever that is. So weird, so scary. But they would go to like insane asylums or like abandoned places. I don't know if like hospitals or whatever, just crazy places. And do like readings. They went to this place where someone was like, I don't know if they were like axe murdered or something crazy. Like, oh my God. Scary stuff. But they were doing like divination with like that spirit box thing. You know, and like getting like answers for like, why did this happen? Are you still trapped here? Like crazy stuff. I don't know. Those are scary, but like the ones that have like a lot of blood involved scare me way more. Like the ones where they're like axe murdered and there's like stains from like 100 years ago or something, like those scare me. The slaughterhouse ones scare me because of like just the whole concept of like how are the animals treated, and like they're just like watching the animals die, and like there's so much blood they have to like wash, they have to take a shower before they can even like go home. Those scare me. Why am I adding this to the same video? I don't know. I swear I always talk about like a lot of stuff. I don't know. My ear literally started ringing, like only one of them, but yeah. Oh, you wanna know what's weird? After watching the slaughterhouse video, oh my god, not like them dying, but it was like the ghost hunting video. What is it called? I don't know if it's called like paranormal. I don't know if it's called like Paranormal Files or something. I don't know. I forgot everybody's name, but there's like the guy with like long blonde hair or something like that. And then his friend, and then his parents or something like that. I think they have other friends, I don't know. I think that's what it's called though. Or I don't know if it's like Paranormal Investigations or Paranormal Files or something. But yeah. You wanna know what happened? I watched their slaughterhouse video, or one of those, or like Insane Asylum. They were talking to a particular ghost, right? Like a really strong one, I don't know. You know what I mean? Anyway, then the next day, I went to my job. I worked at Chick-fil-A. I went to my job. I was like handling like the fryer for like fries, like French fries at Chick-fil-A. And I burnt, where'd it go? It might have went away. I had like, oh yeah, it's gone. But what had happened, I don't remember which one of my like wrists or like arm right here, you could see it in some of my old YouTube videos. There were literally like long lines. Like I can't draw it on myself right now because I have to go somewhere tomorrow, but it's like if you pictured this is like a red line, like all the way down, like really like strong red line. It was like there was a third one, but it was shorter, but there were 3 red lines on my arm that appeared, and they were there for like months, like I don't know, 6 months, 8 months or something. And I was like, I got physically injured from watching their YouTube video. Like they're great, but like how did I get physically injured like from watching their YouTube video? But I think they talked about how they could get like scratches from like the ghost nearby when they were talking to them. I think it happened in one of their videos, like that they had, somebody got like scratches, right? But then I literally the actual next day went to my job. But it was a burn, so it was like a like burn that lasted forever. So yeah, it was literally like one of my arms, I don't remember which one, I think it's this one, but I had like just long lines, like 3 long red lines like down my arm. Again, for like months. Like 6 months, 8 months, I don't know. A long time. An insane amount of time. But it was from the ghost that they were dealing with. That's how strong it was that I got injured from watching it. And I practice magic and stuff, so you would think it builds up like protection around you, so it was still so strong that it still got me. I was like, what's going on? That was extreme. I was like, okay. It was sort of like, you know, when you know something is real, but then something is like 10 times more proof. And you're like, how did I just find out? I think, okay, you know something is real, but then when your physical body gets injured from it, it being real becomes like 10 million times more true. But that happened to me only from watching one of their videos. That was how hard like the ghost cursed them that it even got me just watching it. But it waited till the next day. So like, how did a piece of that spirit from like through the phone, through watching their video, like followed me and like made me get hurt? That's pretty crazy. So, like, it didn't draw blood per se, but it was a burn. It was like a burn that lasted like 8 months. But it looked like a physical scratch, like as if something had 3 claws. 2 that were an equal length and 1 that was shorter. So, yeah. How wide it was really like, if you took like a Sharpie and you just drew like kind of a hard line with it, but it doesn't have to be like a super thick Sharpie, you know what I mean? Just like a normal one, but like 3 times. But get kind of lazy by the last one, you know. 2 of them looked kind of like planned out. The other one's like just the laziest line ever. So I don't know why I wanted to bring that up. I don't think I talked about that at any point, but yeah, if you look at my like old videos on my channel right now, you'll find when that happened. Oh, and then there was the time the moon disappeared while I also worked at Chick-fil-A. I don't really remember the whole story, but I talked about it before. There was a time, I could roughly like try to remember it. So basically, I worked at Chick-fil-A. Looked up at the sky. There were like no clouds in the sky. And I watched the moon disappear. But then it came back or something like that, right? I just know the moon disappeared. And you know what I'm thinking of? You know when Camila Cabello came out with that song called like Bad Kind of Butterflies or something? She's like, oh, I didn't talk about all of that. So there was this storyline, right? So I believe Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes are twin flames. If that interests you. I literally saw like, oh my gosh, whatever, my necklace like reflecting the phone. Is so weird. Okay, I look like a candle lit, but that's fine. So Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes, right? I believe they're twin flames. Some people might be like, what? But I think they actually believe in it to a degree, or they did at some point, because they're super into like meditation. People are saying like Shawn Mendes was like in a cult or something. That's what people wanted to drag up, right? Camila Cabello's into like manifestation or like mindfulness, meditation, something like that. Some kind of magic or something, right? But Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes sort of had like a crush on each other, but they didn't pursue it. Or that's what it seems like the storyline was at the time, right? That's what it looks like from the outside. Then Camila Cabello starts dating this dating coach, Matthew something? Hussey, maybe? I don't know. Hussey? I don't know what his last name is. I thought it started with an H, but I don't really know. Matthew something. He's like I guess a popular dating coach. I had never heard of him, but he was like a popular dating coach. There was something going on. I forgot his exact like way of teaching with the dating coach, but it was sort of the opposite. Like it wasn't really like enabling like the twin flame theory. It was sort of like something completely different, right? I remember it being something completely different when I did look him up. But anyway, she started dating him. And so at that point in time, there's like a shift where now she's in this like serious relationship in the public eye. Okay. At some point in time, while Camila Cabello's, so she was in this relationship with a guy. That's when Shawn Mendes decided he is like all for Camila Cabello out of nowhere, right? And so there's this storyline where Camila Cabello starts to like find out or something at some point. Well, I don't really know their timeline. Camila Cabello's in a super serious relationship. She had all these songs about like her dad meeting like the man she was with or something, right? Or she had songs about like finally being in a serious relationship. Like, what is that about? Like, what does that feel like? yeah, that's when Shawn Mendes decided he's like all down for Camila Cabello. Releasing songs where he's saying like that he would wait for her, right? He's like even if it's not right now, like I'll wait for you. Like even if it's like years and years down the line, like I'll still be waiting for you. At the same time that she's working on this album about like the man who's now like the love of her life, right? Or so it seems. It's like so serious. And like the dating coach, like his values were very like people don't wait if it's actually the person they're meant to be with, like they make the moves, like there's no such thing as like right person wrong time, right? So that's like what this dating coach I think seemed to believe, okay, at the time, right? And then for Shawn Mendes to be like out of nowhere, he sort of decides like it's always been Camila Cabello, and like he did interviews where he's like every song's about her, like all of that, right? At some point, right? He's like every song I ever wrote was about her. So yeah, Shawn Mendes kind of becomes like, I don't know, not only infatuated, but willing to like publicly say that he'll like wait for her for like an infinite amount of time. And so at some point in time, well, they do the song Senorita together, which I think is like an excuse to reach out to each other, right? That's what I thought it was. An excuse to reach out to each other. The song was going on both of their albums that they're working on. Right? So it's like, and then Camila Cabello is like, well, now I can tell how much he's into me, right? How much he does care. But he like never showed it before, like, and so she goes on this whole like, why did you never tell me like when I was available? Like you didn't care. Like you didn't care when I was open. You didn't care when it was the right time. Like you didn't care. And she's like, do I want to throw my whole relationship in the trash because it's so important? And it seems like she goes through this whole like dark night of the soul, like twin flame, like, am I sure that I'm willing to do this now for somebody who couldn't even say it when I was available? Someone who couldn't even say it when I was available, right? And now I'm in this serious relationship. Now you want me. So she has that song, again, the song that just got stuck in my head, or that I was thinking of, right? It just came to my mind, like Bad Kind of Butterflies. She's like, I've something like, I've got like the bad kind of butterflies, like something, like somebody's stuck in my head or something like that, right? I don't remember the exact lyrics, but it's like, she's like, I've got the bad kind of butterflies, like something I've got to confess. It's sort of that like love triangle now. She's like, I'm in this serious relationship, but now I have like butterflies, right? Thinking about Shawn Mendes, and now I feel like I have something I have to confess. Like, do I want to end the relationship? I think I have to confess that Shawn Mendes is like that amount down for me, and like now I care. And Shawn Mendes is like, I don't remember his exact, I always listen to it, but I always forget the words too. I don't know, he makes it sound like, you know, even if it's in 50 years, like, while in a relationship, well, while Camila Cabello's in the relationship, right, he's like, well, I'll wait for you. Oh, and they have that song Lost in Japan. Or, I mean, Shawn Mendes does, right? Something about Japan. He's sort of like, I'm so far away, and like, you know. Or like one of us is so far away, the other one is somewhere else. You know? Then they're like, okay, Senorita is like this sexy song. Senorita is gonna be like the way in. Like this is like planned out. It's like Senorita is gonna be the way in, right? So that Camila Cabello doesn't get married to this dude or something. But they're both working on these two different albums, like simultaneously, but neither's released it. So neither really knows that there starts to be songs about each other on the albums. And then the pandemic starts at the same time that they move into this house in Florida together in Miami. Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes, when she leaves the relationship. And then people say that they kiss like fish or something, and they start like making YouTube videos saying that, or not YouTube videos, like Instagram videos or something. Like, look, we kiss like fish. And they're just like being weird. The same kind of weird, but they're being weird. Which maybe they made that up, or maybe people actually said they kissed like fish. What does it mean to kiss like fish? Apparently they were just like licking each other a lot. I don't know. I don't know what that has to do with fish, but like that was what happened. Anyway, it looks like they were twin flames. But then I don't know if Camila Cabello cheated on Shawn Mendes with that dude from that movie she was in. Because I think they started dating or something, right? I don't know. And then people thought she was with Drake. And then people thought Shawn Mendes was with some girl who's like a cult leader or something, they thought, or like a yoga instructor. But then they decided, what if she's like a yoga instructor turned cult leader? Like, we don't know. I think people were not sure at that point. I don't know if it was like a self-titled album Shawn Mendes decided to do, and then Camila Cabello did like the romance album. Oh no, I dropped a piece of cereal. But yeah. I'm so nocturnal. It's like really dark out. But I think I turned on the camera to talk about twin flame stuff, and then I just walked into all of that type of conversation for some reason. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I think I can feel like I take up too much space with like all the albums I have out, but nobody knows about them. So then that's not true. It's like clearly I haven't done anything for people to find out about them, I guess. I don't have like money to like promote them, right? So like, you know, I just decided to like try to follow my dreams and like not give up. And so when you don't have money for advertising, you just make more content and you make more art. because that's your version of not giving up on it, because you don't have a way to promote yourself anyways. So how do you know that you're still trying? You're just still putting out art, right? And there's moments when like a song seems like the most embarrassing thing ever, and I still post it. I still post those ones, you know? Or there's times when I cringe and I'm like, why did I make this choice? Why am I still doing this part? Like, this part is so weird. Like, you know, like, do I wish I would have done this part differently? Or did I grow from what I created to have the capacity to look at it and be like, well, I see what I could have done differently now. Like, maybe I didn't always know what I could have done differently. But then, like, I made certain moves and started to grow, and now I can see what I could have done differently in hindsight. Sometimes we make certain choices as people, and then we start to know, like, what could have been done differently. I eat food like a fish. Like, you know, like, somebody could have, like, thrown cereal into a fish tank, and I'm like, you know. Like, at that point, I can't tell if I'm eating it so it doesn't get, like, stuck in my gills, or if I'm eating it because it's food. Or if I think I'm the one cleaning the tank, and that's why I'm eating it. Or do fish know that it's food? Like, and I think about things like, okay, if my twin flame doesn't know that I'm a music artist, would he still be running away if he knew? But, like, it's not my business if he knows or doesn't know or how he finds out. But also, why would he suddenly care if I am, right? But then it's like, well, if my content started to catch on and, like, get views and he found out, then would he just only come back if he did for, like, money or something, you know what I mean? Like, or like, oh, I see there's views over here, you know? So it's like, in order for him to find out, if that is what would have caused him to have interest, then the whole entire problem is that, like, in order for him to even find out about me or care at all, then I would have to think it's about money. Right? And that causes, like, weird problems. And, like, even though he lied to me about being a millionaire and stuff, I was never going to be, like, with him or not with him because of that. I was never going to be with him because he was a millionaire, even if he was. I wasn't going to be like, hey, give me money. Like, I wasn't going to think of that, really. Which sounds weird, but, like, I was like, either way, it's not like that's my money. Even if he was a millionaire. Like, I was so respectful. I was, like, literally thinking about it, I was like, that's literally, like, within, like, 4 seconds of him saying that, I was like, oh, yeah, like, that's just not, like, my money, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't say it, but, like, I was thinking that already. Because I wasn't like, oh, how am I going to get my hands on that? You know what I mean? Which is maybe not the way he looked at people, I don't know. Maybe it is. But I don't prioritize that being how he looked at people or looks at people because people are in different, like, situations. I don't know. It's, like, a weird paradox, right? I'm not like, oh, you have to, like, not want their resources. Like, who cares, you know? whatever. But then it turned it into, like, maybe he's trying to test whether or not I care that he's a millionaire. But he's not a millionaire, but, like, what if he's trying to, like, test how I react to that, to see if I'm going to use him for money he doesn't have. And I was like, I feel so weirdly, like, I thought it dropped cereal in the box. And I hate that, but there's not any. But yeah, it was super weird. I was like, first of all, you don't know me. Second, you're trying to, like, you already don't trust me so much. You're trying to test whether or not I would try to use you for money you don't even have. First of all, neither of us have $1 million. But it was also, like, I think it made me think, like, maybe that's the reason why he decided he didn't like me. Because maybe he was lying about being a millionaire to everybody to find out who has more resources than he has. And that was where he was going to go. Because a lot of people don't say, like, prove it. So he could be like, I'm going to challenge you to, like, say you have something better than I have. I have $1 million. You know what I mean? So then it's like, you think the standard is that somebody else has to have what you have. So if somebody comes around and has more than you have, you're going to go over there because you just admitted something about, like, your financial standing. So then you, like, you almost have this thing where you're like, well, I wouldn't have to settle for anybody who doesn't have $1 million. I just wouldn't have to. As a person who doesn't have it. Okay. So there's, like, really, like, so many, like, levels of feeling tested by that scenario. Because you have to have the perfect thing to say. And not even think of it that way. Because you barely know this person and it's obviously their money, not yours. And you were never going to think of it that way. But then you're like, you were trying to test me either because you want me to show off greater resources so that you could be like, oh, I'm going to stick around here. Right? That's weird. Or you're trying to test that, like, I wouldn't try to use you for money you don't have. Which is kind of weird because I don't even know why I would have a preference of, like, how you act when we barely know each other. Even if you're my twin flame, like, you're making moves that are weird for everybody at that point. Because I'm supposed to sit there and think that it has some kind of meaning if you just decide to say that. Then you weren't gonna like me anyways. So then I have to be like, okay, yeah, so which part of that did I mess up? You know? And it's like, no. Which part of that did you mess up? The whole thing or just part of it? Because there's probably not a part of that I messed up. So did you mess up the whole thing or just part of it? At that point, right? I swear, like, I don't hate him. He's just my twin flame, but, like, there's weird parts. There's weird parts, you know? But yeah, I don't see other people's resources as also mine, by any means. But I think, you know, who did he decide to leave me for and all that stuff, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes people really do try to show off fake resources so you can try to match them at their, like, level that they're not actually on, so that then they can make choices with, like, a clear mind and really go for the one who financially just has infinite money for no reason. Right? So it is what it is. I'm gonna put the cereal away though. I saw, like, a couple termites in my room. I don't want them to, like, go in the cereal box. I only ate, like, a little bit of it. You know what I mean? There's, like, a lot. So, like, but you get what I mean. Like, we don't need to contaminate it all with animals. Creatures. Okay. I've exchanged the cereal for water. And it's funny. Talking about twin flames. One of the most, like, difficult parts is feeling so controlled by the girl he sort of left me for, in a lot of ways, even though they're not together in a relationship or anything, so it was like for nothing, right? Which is fine, like, people have their free will, but I think part of the twin flame journey, and like, it's like whoever the like chaser is in the dynamic, it's like you have to find out when you get to even stand up to somebody else's free will that they have a right to have by like society's like modern standards, right? And then the person who's running away, it's like, well, don't they have a right to? But why are they really doing it? They're spiritual bypassing a lot of things, and they're running from what they actually want a lot more than they're saying. But then it's like they blend in with like the modern standards of like what people are allowed to do because they just have free will. But like, are they interfering with somebody else's free will by having free will to the degree they want to have, right? Do you have that much free will, or are you taking that much free will from someone else? But then it's like no one wants to say that. Honestly, the chaser is like more respectful in a twin flame dynamic than people give them credit for, because they have to not interfere with like normal rules of like what you're not allowed to like say. You're not going to tell somebody they don't have a right to like leave you, you know? Because like they have a right to. And then the chaser gets to look delusional and crazy to the entire planet, because why would spiritual stuff be real? But then they might be delusional and crazy in the context of the whole planet. They might not even be chasing the real twin flame a lot of the time. So but you still have to trust yourself and believe yourself. So if you feel like that person's your twin flame, you still have to trust yourself and believe yourself. That pretty much goes beyond what most people even want to do, what most people even want to give themselves credit for. Because people think giving yourself credit always feels good. People think balancing things always feels good. People think caring about things being fair always feels good. People are sadly mistaken to such a ginormous degree. Sometimes your life gets so much harder when you try to balance and make things fair. When you try to add fairness to a situation, it ruins everybody's life, and you have no idea why. So I don't mean like, oh, things are unfair for a reason, but like, people get tested. Like, are you sure you want to walk through that door to accomplish your dreams and to have magic and to have all of the important things? Well, if you do it, you're going to ruin not only your life, but everybody's. Are you sure you want it? And you're like, what do you mean I'm going to ruin everybody's life? They're like, you can find out if you want to, but it's not going to be worth it. And then you find out and it's not worth it. But at least you got to have the little piece of like victory where you know that you kept trying and you kept going. But yeah. I don't know. there's so many ways of interpreting the twin flame dynamic, because there's so many ways to interpret like your journey on Earth to begin with. But there's some more stressful ways. Some people believe you can have like more than one twin flame, which in my mind is like the most stressful, weird concept they could ever even bring up, because I don't think it makes sense. But also you would have to be able to be completely sure that like our entire, it's like define what our universe is, especially if there's other ones. Define which one our universe is, and like define the difference between like a universe and a dimension. And like, just because you can doesn't mean you know what actually causes the difference between, like, what if you have a different twin flame depending on what universe you go to? Like, no one wants to think, what if they have a different twin flame depending on what dimension they go to? Like, that's completely insane. Like, nobody wants to say that or think that. But then when you open your mind and you get tested on like weird stuff and you're trying to figure it out, you're like, well, the most comforting beliefs, why would I decide those are automatically true? I think people play into the concept of like, clearly we have a nice God that created all of us. Why? Because we're supposed to be more grateful to exist than we currently feel. But like, you look around and you're like, well, where's the evidence that God is like good or cares about anybody? And like, I just believe in multiple deities, but that doesn't mean, well, I believe they're all real, but that what guarantees the security that you have one twin flame and that you're their only twin flame? Because wouldn't that be so comforting and nice? Or that if they have multiple twin flames, that you're also a twin flame of all of the people that they combine to their twin flame dynamic. I don't like the idea of like somebody could have like multiple twin flames, because I don't find it like a comforting belief that feels like it makes sense. But I think so many people on the planet are so open-minded that like maybe that works for them, you know? But I think that stresses me out more than it helps, because I think that makes me feel, at least on Earth, so not cared about if somebody had to also not only be my twin flame but have another twin flame, right? And I think something happened recently where I saw a vision of like a, like almost like better version and a worse version, right? But the essence was that it was actually my twin flame in both scenarios. I just didn't know. So it was a scenario where I had to see like, what if we had this much of an easier life versus what if we had this much of a harder life? And then it's like, well, the actual reality is like in between, right? And so that was like a mind fuck, because I had to really process like, okay, so this is what it would have looked like if we had a harder life, both of us, and this is what it would have looked like if we had an easier life, both of us. In the easier life, we were already like together in a union, right? And it was pretty chill, we were happy, okay, we were just talking. In the harder life, he was the chaser the whole time, and I just didn't believe in it. So if we had both had a harder life than this, he would have been the chaser at some point, and then I just would not have believed in it at all. And then if he asked about it, I would just said it's not true. So, but yeah, to actually see like the different versions was difficult, because you have to still love where you're at when you see the better one, and then you have to be like, but that doesn't mean I don't desire for like upgrades. It just means that like I can still accept where we're at. But then for the harder one, you have to be like, I don't see things differently just because I saw some traumatizing things, you know? So I think sometimes being a human, you change your emotional capacity for things and your mental capacity for things to just always be stronger and better than you were before, and understand more than you understood before. And yeah. I think after being blocked by my twin flame on TikTok, I felt like the connection was stronger, but also that, like, it was weaker. Some parts of it became so weak that they were, like, disappearing, right? And then some parts became so strong that, like, I have never felt energy that strong, right? So it's very, like, the settings are all over the place. the energy is all over the place. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should just post this video and just get it out there, because I don't know what else I want to say, but I love you guys. Goodbye.